What is going on, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are back with another episode. I'll cap this off as the last episode of season two. So season three is coming up. But once again, I'm Jordan Jean Louis, the host of JJ Sports Talk. I got my boy Brandon Mazz going uh, duos together tonight, man. Our boys couldn't make it today, but it's all good, man.
Jordan, you know what to do, bro. We've been doing this for a minute. Everybody got stuff popping off. I can't always make it. We know life gets in the way,
Yeah.
but they'll be here. Still waiting for the debut of Matt. Thought it was gonna come, but
Oh,
we all just got caught up last week. It's hard. It's hard trying to run this and being a college student. You know. And then when
yeah.
you got four dudes with it, bro, like trying to mix the schedules, it's like we all working. We all got midterms and stuff. Like you already know what it is, bro. But
Midterms, man. Like,
we'll get it figured out soon, bro. Once these midterms are done, we'll be rocking for a bit until finals. But
yeah, but like I said, we back with another episode,
bro,
another
we
one.
had
It's like, huh?
I said we had a big 2 weeks, bro. But we back here with another one. You already know
So,
what it is.
so
But
let
we already saw the title of the episode. Jordan, Big J.
tragedy in Vegas, man.
What the hell, man?
I just
And
don't
for
get
the
it.
you want to take him through, or do you want me to take him through?
Shit, I will, man. I've been here. I've been
Go
dying
ahead.
to say my word. Like, yeah, man. So, tragedy in Vegas. We all know, or people who haven't known. And I think it was the other day, wide receiver, star wide receiver Henry Ruggs III, um, was drunk driving, going. The details came out slowly, day by day, as details came about. The dude was going like 156 miles per hour. I'm not sure where in Vegas it happened because I'm trying to picture where it was. I was in Vegas. I can't remember. But then on impact, he hit the girl from behind at 127 miles per hour at impact. The car engulfed into flames, and then the girl passed away. So my input on this is this situation could have easily been avoided. I believe it's his second year in the NFL. Very young, talented star receiver. Um, like I said, I was in Vegas in August, bro. Believe me, there's Lyft, there's Ubers, there's taxis, bro. And for God's sake, he's in the NFL, man. The NFL provides free transportation for their NFL players wherever you're at. So yeah, I'm just very, very mad because at the end of the day, no matter what angle you take at it, somebody has lost their life. So yeah, what's your opinion on it, man? Like, what do you?
Man, I'm telling you right now, this is a tragedy. As you said, not only could this have been avoided, it should have been avoided. I mean, come on, man. How dumb do you gotta be to drive? First off, I've never been to Vegas, but we've all seen pictures of it. You know what I mean? Um, it's just a big strip. It's a giant city filled with traffic, and you doing 157 miles. They clocked you in at 127 when you make impact with this poor girl. Cost her and her dog's life. If you haven't seen the pictures, it's insane. It's a tragedy. He had a blood alcohol content of 0.161. First off, Henry Ruggs was a first round pick, so we know he got the bag. He might not have $100 million, but he got a couple million in the bank, I'm sure. Um, and it's just insane, man. This 100% should never have happened. You have too many things in place. As you said, the NFL has programs now. Whether or not the Raiders implemented it, I have no clue, but they would have access to it. I'm sure he could have just got someone from the team to drive him at the very least, bro. He's got that money. Should have had an Uber. Could have hired a chauffeur. Could have got one of the homies to drive him, man. But no, he decided that he wanted to do something stupid, and it cost the ultimate price of someone's life, man. And
Yeah,
I
like what?
can't.
Well, I would say what Stephen A. Smith said. Like on first take, he was very smart. He was like, so this wasn't like intentional. Like Henry he wasn't planning on going out and unfortunately killing this girl. It was an unintentional thing, which is but still like I said,
Don't
no matter
matter.
what angle you look at it, she's gone, and like that mother has lost a daughter. You know,
I mean,
you know.
Holmes, let's face it, right? I don't think anybody goes out, leaves their house and said, I'm a drunk drive tonight. I'm gonna get into this accident and I'm gonna cost somebody their life and screw up my own in the process, right? But we've seen this time and time again, whether it's been athletes or just regular people. I mean, you hear story after story about this. I don't know what else could have been done to prevent this besides Henry Ruggs just not being a bonehead. You know, I don't want to kick the man while he's down, but I'm gonna tell you right now, he ain't getting no sympathy from me. I know this wasn't intentional, but at the end of the day, this has been a problem for years, man. And anybody that doesn't figure this out by now, bro, like you're playing yourself. All right, you cost this girl her life. You just messed up your entire life. All right, like you affect their lives, man, not just your own. Do whatever you want to yourself. But when you start affecting other people, people that you don't even know, man, it's a problem. And I don't know what else I could really say. I mean, we've seen some of his past teammates and current teammates. Oh, well, he just got released from the Raiders, so he really ain't got no teammates right now. But they're coming out and trying to support him. But I don't know how much you could support, man. He messed up. You can't fix this, man. You know, I don't know where he goes from this. He's looking at almost damn near 30 years potentially, depending on what they hit him with. And it's gonna be I don't want to say like I'm interested to see what's gonna happen because like I wish it never happened in the first place, but who knows where this is gonna lead, man. This has already gotten to the worst point. As we said, a poor female lost her life, 23 years old. I'm 23, dog. Like I can't imagine not waking up tomorrow for crying out loud. I'm sure my family can't imagine not waking up without me, my friends and stuff. And this poor woman is gone right now. So, and as for Henry Ruggs, man, if he makes it through it, I don't even know how you make up for the situation, Big J.
I mean, just like I don't know if you saw Derek Carr, his press conference, like of like the situation. He was kind of like people who were not in that inside circle of the team, like they don't know Henry Ruggs and Derek Carr. He's the closest. You said like, damn, like he could have been there for him, and he still is as a brother. And like you said, like you don't want to kick nobody while they're down. But Derek Carr was like, yeah, he's my boy. Like I'm gonna be support hang in whatever he needs with support. Because right now his head is probably like at the time maybe the adrenaline was like but he probably feels like he is hitting him hard right now. So like you said a death a death is a death, and it's hard to justify what he did, and but it's glad you said that what you said, because like I was going to ask you like what with the NFL the next steps is like a felony DUI. I think it was like 20 years, and then he got like a firearm too in the car. That's another thing.
It was a loaded firearm, dude. Like how
Loaded
many
firearm.
times you gotta have somebody in your camp, bro? Like I understand that everybody comes from different walks of life. We're just like accustomed to certain things, but when you get to this status, man, right? It's a whole responsibility. You're a role model. You're kind of like a savior of like your family, because you can get them out of certain situations, and that's a lot of pressure. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't be allowed to go out and have a good time, blow off some steam. I'm never gonna judge a man for that, but when you have so many options to be more responsible, my man, it's insane that you don't take those precautions when it's literally just as easy as making a phone call. That's all it is, man. Even if you went to the club, right? You didn't intend to get that drunk. Come on, bro. You've been there for a couple of hours. You've been drinking. You should understand the rate of alcohol that you're consuming. Call a backup, bro. Whether it's a friend, an Uber, call up the Raiders. I'm sure they could have sent over somebody lower in the organization to come get you. There was so many outs, and he chose to be irresponsible. And like I said, I don't want to kick him when he's down, but he's not getting any sympathy from me because you got to be better than this. Because we ain't talking about just crashing a car and somebody breaking a leg. We're talking about a 23-year-old female lost their life because you decided to be inadequate in your decision making.
Yeah, very very strong. Like very very powerful statement there. Yeah, like I don't feel. I mean, I wish I can. I wish I can feel sorry for that man, but like I mean, obviously he's still young. He's still young to himself. But how can you support a dude? And plus with this whole like John Gruden situation, that with the whole that story, and then now this, and how there's no way like they gotta focus on the season, man.
How
But
do you focus on it, Big
how
J?
do you
Like,
focus? Yeah, right. How do you
you know,
focus?
like if the Raiders collapse tomorrow, like I get it, man. Like the whole team's got to be hurting. You know, I'm sure Henry Ruggs is loved by the people around him. As we said, Derek Carr came out. We saw Tua, former teammate of his, get emotional when speaking about it. Others have spoken out about it. Like nobody asked for any of this to happen, but the Raiders are pushing, are going against the grind right now. I mean, the coach just gets let go, and we got this whole rug situation. It's just tragic. And you know what, man? Speaking of that coach situation with Gruden, as we talked about this in a previous episode, we all know what happened with John Gruden. Those remarks. Reason why John Gruden got outed was because of the internal investigation the NFL was doing for the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins, and Dan Snyder and that circus he's got going on over there. Now, from what I heard, is that the investigation is either completed or coming close to an end. And Roger Goodell has stated that the internal reports of everything that they found going on in that, quite frankly, excuse my language, shit show, they said that it's not going to be released publicly. Are you Big J? How you feel about that, man?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. I don't know why the NFL is scared to release it in the first place. I mean, people want to know what's going on, like in that organization. I personally, I feel like Dan Schneider should be, released from the team as an owner because like he's in this in the middle of it, and like so. Like with the situation, you can't just say an investigation is complete, but not release the whole the whole 9 yards. Um, I mean, like myself, I want to see what the internal investigation is, so they can actually move on from this, in a way, kind of like because right now I'm pretty sure in that locker room, like in that building, like it's a distraction right now with the whole and yeah. So I mean, I feel like this should, I don't know why. What's the whole why so scared? Are they hiding something? Are they trying to cover Dan Snyder's ass?
I mean, they're definitely trying to cover something, man. I mean, when the first thing started coming out of all the stuff that was going on there with the toxic culture that they created, we've gotten into this too much, so I'm not going to get into full detail on what's happening with the Washington football team, just because we have covered it on multiple episodes. But you're absolutely covering up for him. Um, you got to release the report, man. Dan Snyder should not be allowed to own a team. Let's be honest right now, man. Mark Davis of the Raiders even came out and said, a fellow owner, man, we know this is billionaire boys club, you know, everybody trying to keep everything hush hush when they can because it's a club. They're there to make money and they're there to watch each other's backs a little bit, right? But we had another owner come out and say, listen, because of this internal investigation, y'all wasn't even investigating my team. And I lost my head coach because of this investigation. All right. Now, granted, my coach probably should have had to go. I think he definitely had to go because of the remarks and just everything that's going on, man. You can't be doing that crap these days. And it was unacceptable. Right. And you're holding the Raiders to a higher standard. We're holding ourselves to a higher standard. But this whole thing was started because of the Washington football team, and we're not going to release. Is there even going to be any further penalties? We all know that Dan Snyder had to step down. In other words, he's still in control. She's just, the face of it right now. That's completely unacceptable, man. He should be nowhere near a football team. The ownership, the organization should not even be a thing anymore. Anybody that had to do with that toxic culture, you know what I'm saying? So it's time to strip the team away, let a new bid come in. The team needs a new identity because this Washington football team is the worst name I've ever heard, man. Like
That's
like
like
get a
calling your
team
team the
name.
Cowboys football team. Like,
Yeah, good one, good one, good one. Yeah, bro. But we'll get into the damn Cowboys in a second. All right, but let me just finish this with the Redskins. It's time for them to sell the team. It's time for new ownership. It's time for a rebrand. Get a damn team name. Now, Big J, moving forward, you want to make jokes about the Cowboys, but your homie, the man that you look up to, that we both look up to, quite frankly, my favorite sports broadcaster, I think he's yours too, Stephen A. Smith. I don't know anybody that hates the Cowboys more than Stephen A. Smith, and they're ranked number one in his rankings, Big J. Super Bowl contenders on any list. Say what you want about the Cowboys, but they're winning games with Dak Prescott, without Dak Prescott. This is looking like a complete team, Big J. So make your jokes, but at the end of the day, that star makes the most money in the NFL. I think they make the most money in North American sports, to be honest with you. Um, and they might be Super Bowl bound, Big J.
I mean, I gotta look at their schedule for the remaining of the season, but I mean, they're looking pretty good, man. They got a good with what's his name, Demarcus Lawrence, um, with Trayvon Diggs. They nice, man. Ezekiel Elliott, like Amari Cooper, he's kind of banged up a little bit, but um, you got Micah Parsons. I mean, y'all got a young, talented, all around team, but I mean, you can't like, well, who like so the Eagles, Giants during the year, like,
Big
come on.
J, I'm glad you just said that because DeMarcus Lawrence has been out most of the season with a broken foot, my man. They are doing work without warnings for crying out loud. We all thought that DeMarcus Lawrence was going to be the next DeMarcus, where hasn't really lived up to it.
Oh
He
wait,
had
who's
a,
number? Wait, who's number 94? That's not Lawrence, or
no 90 is Lawrence.
I think
90.
94. Maybe I mistake 94 with 90 because
I
thought that
remember
was Lawrence
94 used to be
because he was a linebacker. I think he's on the edge.
Randy. It's Randy Gregory's been killing it, man. So it's been next man up, Big J. They get Diggs, the young Diggs brother, has been doing. He's got multiple interceptions. He's on pace to hit 17 interceptions. I don't know if he's going to hit it, but that would be crazy if he did. You know, Offense hitting on all cylinders. Listen, I mean, people can say what they want. Oh, the possible easy schedule, ba ba ba. They just walked into Minnesota with Cooper Rush, for crying out loud, Big J. Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback because Dak was out. They decided to rest him. They still pulled off the dub. All right, they got it done. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. I've never seen the Cowboys win games they had no business being in or that we thought that they already counted out as. And the fact that the backup came in and did some work, it's just been quality, man. And let's be honest, like Cooper Rush ain't going to be anything great, man. He did something great in that game. He held it down, and that's what they need. It's next man up mentality. Can end up to me, bro. Right now, they might be the team to beat. I think Los Angeles is still looking tough. I think Tampa's still looking tough. But let's not forget, if Greg Zerloin, the kicker, isn't a bum in week one, they beat Tampa, man, and they're undefeated. So they hung in there with what we all thought was going to be the best team in the NFL, and here we are. So we'll see how the Cowboys do, man. You're on mute, Big J.
My fault, fans and folks. I'm always doing that shit. Anyways, like I said, I love talking about NFL, and it's good we're talking about that because I forgot I didn't bring him in the production meeting. My boy Mike White on the Jets went off. Um, he went first time for 45 for passing attempts. He had 145 passing yards. His longest was 9 yards average. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His QBR rating was a 107. And I'm not sure. Like I saw on Instagram that they put his jersey in the Pro Hall of Fame. I'm not sure that was like for real or they were just like, oh,
Nah,
one
nah.
game is. But no, but he
They
had
were
a
gonna.
hell of a game, man. For a backup of the rookie, man. Like But it seems like, but being a Ravens fan, I love seeing the Bengals lose. But it's crazy because people are saying, "Oh, how come we couldn't beat the Bengals? A good defense like but we can't even beat the Bengals, man. Like, oh,
Well,
well, we can, but it's like, what happened, man? Like, what did they do that we didn't, man?
I'll tell you right now, man. It's just that was the definition of any given Sunday. I'm working. I work at MetLife Stadium. As I said previously, Big J. I cannot tell you the amount of people, Jets fans, that first off showed up late to that game, right before kickoff. Usually people are in there, bro. They're usually tailgating. Dude, there was no traffic. You walked right in there, bro. It usually takes me a bit to get in, and it was insane, bro. The amount of people coming through, like Jets fans literally thought they were going to lose that game. It was like, hey, let's see what the kid can do, but I expect the Jets to be the Jets. And then this kid White comes out of nowhere, just starts lighting it up, man. And it was insane. The whole place was going wild. I think they're going to have quite frankly, I think there's going to be a quarterback battle in New York. I think everybody would love to see that. But at the end of the day, I still think they're going to be going with Zach Wilson as their main man. But now they know that they have somebody that can do some work. And I think since you just took them lightly, man, any given Sunday, that's what it comes down to. You never know what's going to happen in this league. When you walk in and you take somebody too lightly, you might just catch an L. And the Bengals caught an L for not doing work like they were supposed to. I mean, look at what, dude. Jamar Chase has been great all season, Big J. I mean, I have him on fantasy. He's been in top five just about the entire year in terms of receiving. And but I gotta be honest, man. When he met that Jets defense, couldn't even do nothing, man. I mean, Chase was held to I think three receptions the whole game for 32 yards. That's some serious defense. Salah did work, man. He's the new head coach. We know he's defensive minded, but Big J, things are happening, man.
Yeah. So is he gonna be? So my question is he gonna be like not the number one QB like on the Jets, but like, do you think he because he sat out that game? I think Josh, the quarterback, forget his name, the
You
one
talk
who
about Big J,
played.
my bad.
Yeah, the one who played on Thursday, the quarterback. Because I didn't think Mike White play. I don't think he played that game.
Oh,
Thursday night game. I
I
think it
gotta
was.
be honest. I missed the Jets game on Thursday against the Colts.
I'm gonna look it up right now. On the Bucks.
It
Uh,
was a man named Johnson. I
yeah,
think.
Josh Johnson. Yeah, I think he was on the Giants a couple years. But yeah, like so, who's gonna be quarterback? Man, it's gonna be the young rookie and Zach Wilson, or do you think Mike White's gonna take that position, or do you think Josh Jackson's gonna take that position, man? Or Josh
Yeah,
Johnson. I'm sorry, I butchered his name. Josh Johnson.
Oh, so he left the game with a forearm injury,
Oh, so
Mike White.
he
He got
played.
injured. Yeah, he played and he was pretty decent for what he played. I mean, he went 7 of 11 for 95 yards, had a touchdown. He had a quarterback rating of 121.4, but at the end of the day, he only threw 11 passes. But then, Johnson comes in, goes 27 of 41, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, quarterback rating of 103.4. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Jets ain't winning the Super Bowl and nothing, but apparently they got some people that are coming out and showing, hey, I'm here. I deserve to be in the starting light, especially while Wilson's down. And I'm pretty sure they brought in Joe Flacco. They just traded for Joe Flacco for a 6th round pick. Not even seeing him. I don't even know what was the point of drafting him, quite frankly, if they're just going to be going with all this other talent. But I mean, things are looking up for the Jets right now. If I'm them, this is definitely not the year that you're doing anything crazy, but it's definitely them having a long time. Let's be honest. I can't remember the last time I've seen Jets fans actually have a reason to be excited, and now they have 3 quarterbacks that are saying, "Hey, we're here to compete at the very least, Big J. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, speaking of new faces, like the trade deadline happened. Like, not many teams didn't really make any moves except the Rams. And man, the
Bro, that
Rams seem to
Rams
get
move.
better, but no one really seemed to I guess with the whole cap space and not many teams were like the Ravens and your team. I guess we didn't have enough money to trade anybody or whatever. But the Rams made a huge splash with Von Miller. Man, um, two of the best prolific um, uh, outside linebackers with Aaron Donald. And then Von Miller, adding Von Miller to that mix, man. And Ramsey and the cornerback, man. That's like a Golden State Warriors team on jack steroids, man.
Bro, that is insane that they went out and did that. As you said, Aaron Donald. I mean, once we are talking about just Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey, like those are guys that teams at some point have all had to base their entire offensive plan on shutting down those guys at some point in their careers. Aaron Donald is still at that caliber. Von Miller, I mean, he's getting a little up there in age, but I mean, what else can be said about him? I hope this isn't one of those Clay Matthews situations, but Vaughn is a different kind of cat, man. I mean, this was a quality pickup. And I mean, what else could we say about it, Big J? That defense is nasty. I'd be petrified if I was an opposing quarterback playing against that because not only do I got Aaron Donald coming up the middle, that takes at least two guys there. Vaughn Miller coming off the freaking edge now, you know. And then even if I get past them, right, I got to throw to a guy like Jalen Ramsey in coverage, man. I hate to say it, but I'm excited about the Cowboys, but I'm quite frankly afraid to play the Rams, especially they actually go out and get a good quarterback in Matt Stafford who's been lighting it up this year. I mean, the Rams might just be the next Super Bowl champions, bro. Not even contenders, the next Super Bowl champions, because this is a big move, man.
Yeah, big move, man. But that was the only trade that seemed to be like the big focal point of the trade deadline because no one really made any other moves. Um,
Were you surprised, Big J? Especially when we have a name like I was hearing a lot of Deshaun Watson talk, not even to Miami like we've been hearing all season. I heard Carolina was getting ready to prepare something, including Christian McCaffrey to get Deshaun Watson, man. I'm really surprised we didn't see him moved at the trade deadline, man. How about you?
yeah, I didn't hear about the whole Deshaun Watson to the Panthers, but yeah, I heard that Miami shut down that trade because I guess with the whole lawsuits against him because they were down to bring him onto the team, but they had to look into what was going on with the investigation and I mean, but there's still some other good teams that like the Saints that need a quarterback with Winston going down, but they got Hill though. But who's their backup? So I mean, Deshaun Watson can step in, um, maybe a starter. But I mean, yeah, I didn't hear about the Carolina. That's something new. But
I was
yeah,
hearing
I'm very shocked that other than the Rams, nothing really happened.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's been weird. Speaking of moving teams, OBJ is just been released by. Apparently, we had a toxic situation going on up there with him and Mayfield just couldn't figure it out. We know OBJ is a bit of a prima donna, so I'm sure he's hard to work with. But somebody was putting out some videos saying that Mayfield just wasn't looking his way. A couple clips of OBJ being wide open. My cousin is a big Cleveland Browns fan, and according to him, the Browns are better without OBJ on the field. Now, whatever that may be, it is what it is. But we all know that OBJ does have spurts of greatness and is definitely somebody worth looking into, especially if you are a team like the Raiders who just lost Henry Ruggs, especially if you're a team like the Saints who've been without Michael Thomas for a while. So OBJ gonna find a new home soon. It's just, is he worth the headache? Is he past the prime of his career, Big J?
To be honest, I don't. That's hard to say because he like the past couple of seasons he's had injuries, been sidelined. I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Like I had him in my fantasy this year, but at the time he was on the IR. He was still hurt. So my my decision, I kicked him off my team because I thought he was worthless right now. But I mean, he's still a good player.
Dude, he kind of reminds me of like a Terrell Owens with less talent. Let's be honest, man. We were all hyped because of that one-handed catch, and it was a beautiful one-handed catch against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I watched it live, dude. It was late night football, and I was even like, first off, that was pass interference. Let's be honest. Second, I was out of my seat, like, no, he didn't. But at the end of the day, man, let's look at the guy's history. I can't stand Eli Manning, but I will say this. I've never seen Eli Manning lose his composure with a teammate until he ran into Odell Beckham Jr. You know, I knew OBJ was a headache the second he fought that kicker's net. We saw him getting into the stuff with Josh Norman when they used to play the Washington football team.
That was epic, man.
And I think Carolina too. That was, I literally cannot stand Josh Norman because of that. We'll save that for another episode. But let me just say that was the most dirtiest stuff I've ever seen. And there's guys that would have been kicked out of the game for a lot less than what those two did that day. But going off with OBJ, man, he just seems like a guy where he's high risk and potential high reward. But I mean, man, he's a headache on the field and he's a little injury prone. Let's be honest. I mean, not even a little, bro. He gets hurt. So I don't know if it's worth it, especially if he's going to be complaining about not getting the ball. But at the end of the day, I think there is a home for him in Las Vegas, potentially in New Orleans, potentially just because they need talent. But you really got to get like this guy somewhere comfortable. You need to make sure that he's not going to be a distraction, because he's been a distraction, quite frankly, everywhere he's gone, man. I just don't know if he's worth it. You think he's worth it?
I mean, I feel like he is. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, some of the passes that I saw from Baker, they were trash throws, man. You can't just lay all on Odell. Like, there's some spots where there's some routes where, obviously they had designed for him, but then Odell took his own, maybe his own route. There's some routes where he should have did like a slant route, and then he did a fly. So I mean, like, you can't really blame it all on Odell because he's not the quarterback. Baker was the quarterback. And my boy Steve Smith Sr. came in, had that comment. He was like, Baker, you ain't nothing, man. Like, and Odell left because of you, man. So I mean, obviously their off-field relationship, I heard, is really good. They're tight. They I think before the season started, him and their family, they all met, and
Are you talking about Smith or Mayfield?
Well, Steve Smith Sr. said that.
Yeah,
about Odell. Yeah.
So him and Smith have the good relationship, you're saying?
No, I'm saying, so I heard that Baker and Odell have off the field have a
really.
That's what I heard on ESPN. They said that before they went to like Wyoming and they had did some work together, like on the field and practice and train together. But on the field, they're just not a good match. But it's funny you said that. What you said about the mentality in the locker room. It kind of reminds me of Antonio Brown, man, because hot-headed dude, his tempers flare. He had his moments. Doing TikToks and running in with the police and stuff. But then, look now, he's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, doing work. And he's with Tom Brady, the GOAT, one of the GOATs. So, I mean, I feel like OBJ, I heard he might go to the Packers, man. That's what I heard.
You know what? That might be possible too. I think that's a good one with Antonio Brown. Brown just needed a place where he felt that he was, one, taken serious, two, had the opportunity to win. This is clearly what was important to him. Obviously, the relationships in Pittsburgh, ran its course. He got ended up getting moved to Las Vegas. He never wanted to be there in the first place. He did everything that he could to get out of there. Ends up going to the Patriots. We didn't hear anything negative from him in the Patriots until the scandal came out, and then obviously they decided to cut him. For PR reasons and stuff because they didn't want to put up with it. But he was very happy to be under Belichick. He was very happy to be with Brady, and then he links up with Brady down in Tampa Bay, which I'm sure he's even more happy about because he's from Florida. I don't know if he is from there, but I know he has a house down there. I'll check on that real quick. But he was more than gracious to end up with somebody like Tom Brady, who they seem to be very close. They've been very successful as a pairing together, my man. So I think you're right. I think OBJ going with an Aaron Rodgers could really benefit. But man, I just
Shoot.
said the words.
What?
Aaron Rodgers, man. Did you see that stuff?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna say one more thing about that. I mean, I heard even to the Ravens, man, because I know him and Odell have Lamar and Odell had that friendship. But I don't know. Some people say it's like we're like run heavy, so like Odell wouldn't really work in our scheme. But hey, man, another it would be Watkins or I'm not sure who we would have to give up. But it'll be Watkins, Bateman, Odell, Brown. The
Well, I,
young
I don't know. You wouldn't have to give up anything because obviously like you can't trade for him, but you like if the buyout happens, I know there's a waiver order. It just depends on who could claim him, I guess. So it's I know Detroit has the first crack
Yeah.
at him. This is really
I think we're 29th or 28th position, so we're like last.
yeah, it's Detroit, Miami, Houston got the first dibs. Even Jacksonville. Jacksonville, we haven't even considered that. I don't know if they do it, but DJ Chark just went down for the whole year. They could use another
Yeah,
wideout.
but I think OBJ wants to. I mean, I'm not. I don't know what's in his headspace right now, but I feel like he wants to win somewhere, man. So
Oh,
I
I
think
think he just wants to be
half those
successful.
teams like are on that list, like the top
Mhm.
10, top 15. Like, so he don't want them.
Yeah, man. I think he definitely he doesn't want to be towards the bottom half, man. He probably wants to go to a contender, but I don't even know if it's necessarily winning, bro, with him. It just seems like he just wants to be involved. You know, as long as like I'm sure he gets frustrated when he isn't doing his job, and I'm sure he's a good competitor. I'm sure he doesn't like to lose. Nobody does, but I mean, he's already starting to get a reputation. I don't know who's interested in him. I'm sure there's some kind of a market for people that are going to be looking after him. But like I said, man, this honestly, this whole Baker situation, it reminds me of Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens, where you had decent listen, more than decent. I love McNabb. I respected McNabb, man. I'm a Cowboys fan, but McNabb put in work, bro. He was a quality quarterback. Terrell Owens is one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, and we saw that they couldn't make it all the way. They were in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady and couldn't even make it work together because they just couldn't get the differences aside them. So obviously the this is like the same situation with lesser talent. It's ran its course. It's time for him to move on, but there should be a market for him. I just think he definitely needs some place that is gonna provide him the structure that he feels that he needs to be successful.
Right.
And you
So
definitely can't just have him on a loose leash, man. You gotta, man. He's a dog, bro. Don't get me wrong, but like sometimes he just go too overboard. You gotta make sure that you really hone in on him and keep him composed.
yeah, like for all like whoever like enjoys TikTok and stuff. I was on TikTok, right, and I saw this like video, right, and this dude like had like 4 parts or 5 parts to this like theory, and he was thinking that I know, like we said with the Raiders situation, and how it's messed up. But this dude had a theory is saying how the NFL like kind of screwed Ruggs into thinking that the Raiders might sign OBJ because they need that million that whatever that gap that they're missing from that money, then they're gonna bring him in to take Henry's spot. But I don't know. That's just a theory. I don't think it was a setup. I think whatever happened, it
Yeah.
happened. You know what I'm saying? But it was a random dude on TikTok.
See,
Um,
dude, that's the problem, man. Is that like the
like,
great thing about the internet, man, is that anybody can put information out there and share information, but then you got clowns like this putting out conspiracy theories.
yeah,
A girl lost their life for crying out loud. You really think that
yeah.
somebody would do that, bro? When they easily could have just done something completely different if that was the case. I'm not into the whole conspiracy hype, man. That's
Mm,
definitely some shenanigans BS right there. That guy need to get a life than sitting there passing around these rumors. I mean, man, this isn't a joke. Like, I don't
mm.
remember. We've already said it, man. A poor female lost her life.
But the
Get
crazy
out of
thing
here
is,
with that crap.
yeah, the crazy thing is, I did hear the Raiders are one of the teams that because
For
uh,
sure, they need a wide
for sure. But
receiver.
yeah, that theory that the
I'm
NFL did
glad you
not.
brought that up, though, Big J,
Yeah,
because
the
that's gonna.
NFL. There's no way NFL this was behind that, man. It's no way. But yeah, yeah.
I mean, dude,
But
at the end of the day,
mhm.
I mean, you can get anything accomplished with money. Let's be honest, man. But to think that a team would go that far, not a chance. We saw. Listen, did we had the conspiracy theory with Deshaun Watson, man, where the lawyer that was representing on the opposing side on the ongoing situation with him supposedly is neighbors with the Houston Texans owner. And we know that Watson and the ownership were having problems, management was having problems. So there was things out there that it was a conspiracy, man. But I don't know. Like I'm not one to get into all of that stuff. It, especially with the rug situation, man.
Yeah,
I feel like the female that passed away is due more justice than somebody out there like downplaying her death like that she was just a pawn in some twisted game. But bro, we've been covering this in all my classes about all this stuff out there. Y'all really need to be careful what you putting out there, man. In previous episodes, I've called two prominent figures in sports POSs. All right, those being Danny Ainge for a situation and uh, my man the man who just got fired with John Gruden, right? I
with
would
Danny
not have.
Ainge.
I called Danny Ainge one on a previous episode for the Isaiah Thomas, and you know
Oh
what?
yeah, yeah.
I might have overstepped on that one, especially when I called him the same term with John Gruden. I don't think Danny John Gruden, but I would not have said those things if I would not be willing to stand behind it. Anything that I would say here, I would say in front of Danny Ainge if I ever had the opportunity to meet him, if I ever ran into John Gruden. I would say the same things like, bro, you were a POS for this. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I like something that I wouldn't say to somebody's face. And that's the thing with everybody on the internet, man. If you're gonna make a statement, if you're gonna make a claim, have a take, you better back it up or don't say it at all, man.
Yeah, it comes to our other podcast where we're like, with the John Gruden, like whatever you, I mean, like you said, like when we get off this podcast episode tonight, like I'm gonna post it and then it's gonna be out for everyone to see. So I mean, obviously, like you say, you call Danny Asia POS, like yeah, like but you stand behind it. But
I'll stay
this,
behind that, man.
uh
The
huh,
way that
uh huh,
they did, the way that, and don't get me wrong, they're two completely different situations. They only called Danny Ainge the same term that I referred to John Gruden because what John Gruden did was much worse in my eyes because he was just being an awful human being. Danny Ainge was just being an like a very strategic businessman, and I just didn't think that he had loyalty towards a man that gave him his all. So I did not like that. So the only thing that I regret is calling them the same term, but I would use that term to both of their faces, no problem, if I ever saw
mhm.
them, and I'd have to deal with the consequences that come with it because that's
Yeah,
life.
right. I guess the difference between you and other people is like people have like Twitter fingers. They love to talk
Can't
and
have
not
Twitter
back it
fingers,
up,
man.
man. Like
Can't have Twitter
you can't,
fingers.
man. Plus, with the situation, like kind of like rubbed me the wrong way with like how like oh how would the NFL like plan this out? Like what I'm saying? Like he did what he did. Like you said, like this situation could have been easily prevented. Easily prevented. Obviously he's young. He wants to show out his new car, his new Corvette. But you can't be acting foolish, man. Especially when like you're what second year top pick, making that bag. You can't be like showing off. At least you can go to the club, have fun. You're still young, but like I don't know why he's at the club anyway. Like during the season, it's not like he's like off season. So I don't know why he's at the club anyway, or maybe he's at the house. I'm not sure. I gotta look right into it, like where he was.
Well, listen, dude. At the end of the day, like however people need to do and how they feel they need to be acting, we all saw the Last Dance, man. Dennis Rodman was hitting the club. Went on his little vacation spree, came back, still did work. Do whatever you got to do, but one, be responsible. First off, you have a job to do. All right. Second, it's just like you have to be a decent human being. All right. Like you can't be going out there. It's like, yo, I want to have fun. That's great. But you got to understand the consequences of your actions have implications on other impact on other people. So you gotta figure it out, man. This because these are the situations, and even on lower on any ends, dude. First off, we already saw the extreme end with Henry Ruggs having this fatal accident, and now just ruined his life, and ruined somebody else's life. More importantly, and now just look at OBJ with his past actions, man. This isn't even on off field stuff, really. This is on field stuff. You know, you have a reputation, man. It impacts you. Maybe you are labeled a bit of a problem, So in any place where you are, man, whether it's a professional athlete, a plumber, it don't matter. Us trying to get in the media, your actions have consequences, whether they're good and bad. You're gonna find out real quick, but you got to be smarter about stuff. I would not sit here and say something that I wasn't willing to back up, you know and just like, I'm not gonna go out, like I might go out and have a good time, but I'm gonna be responsible to an extent. Obviously we all mess up at times, but sometimes we've seen mistakes cost people a lot of money. We just saw a giant mistake cost somebody their life, and it, you always have an effect, Big J. You know, it's just whether or not you're willing to live with the consequences.
That's facts, man. Like here on the JSO Sports Talk Show. Eventually, I'm gonna make this show a network. Eventually, man. So I'll be saying the JSO Sports Network. But for second time, I'm gonna do this JSO Sports Talk Show. Like we talk. We might have disagreements. We might have arguments. We might have sports arguments. But like we back up what we say, man. Like we wouldn't be doing this podcast if like this wasn't authentic and real, and you know. So yeah, like if like please, if you're an athlete, even this is a general day to day teacher, anybody student, please do not go out and drink and drive, man. Please, man. For that's what they all the parents say. Like I don't mind if y'all drink as long as you stay at our house and don't drive anywhere. So
Dude, you
we
just got to be smarter,
we
man. But
here
we
we are
spent
me yeah, like me and the boys, we're here to tell you straight up, like real talk, man, real talk.
Yo, and speaking and listen, dude, your integrity means everything, man. You got to be a man of your word. Like I said, like if you say you're gonna do something, do it. Be about it. Speaking of not being about it and not being a man of your word, I hinted at it before. Aaron Rodgers just came out. Man's out with COVID. Lied about the whole situation. Like, man, are you kidding me right now? Like, how the hell are you one of the face of this league, right? And you gonna sit there as a man and lie to the organization that you ain't even vaccinated, bro? Nobody's saying that you had to be vaccinated. All right, it's just if you weren't gonna be vaccinated, there are certain precautions that you have to take to respect others and help others, prevent them from catching this virus at your own fault. We see Carson Wentz isn't vaccinated. He's on the sideline with a mask. Whenever he comes in contact with somebody, he usually has a mask on if it's off the field. This is absolutely insane that Aaron Rodgers, and I'm sure the Green Bay Packers had to know to some extent, so shame on them too. But you sitting there and you lying, and you could potentially be getting someone hurt with this virus. Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you that y'all need to get a choice. But what I am telling you is that if you ain't going to be vaccinated, you got to do the proper steps to protect yourself and others. You can't be sitting there lying to anybody because you look like a dirtbag. And Aaron Rodgers seems like a good guy. He's plenty of people look up to him. He's a great athlete to watch. He's arguably the best quarterback talent we've seen in a while before Patrick Mahomes even got here. There's a constant debate on whether or not who's the better quarterback talent, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, and most would say when it comes to talent, Aaron Rodgers might have him beat. I sometimes lean towards that. Aaron Rodgers is fun to watch. You just got to be better, man. You can't be out there lying about this stuff. You look like a fool, man.
Now, I'm reading the statement. I'm gonna read to the fans. So I think Aaron Rodgers had like a little like Zoom, I guess, call or ESPN call, and he was like, first of all, this is like, and I quote this from him. First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated and who wasn't, and what that meant, and who was being selfish and who wouldn't talk about it, or who would talk about it. What it meant if they said it's a personal decision and they shouldn't have to disclose their own medical information. And at the time, my plan was to say that I had been like had been immunized. It wasn't some sort of ruse or lie. It was the truth, and I'll get into the whole immunization in a second. But had there been a follow up to that statement that I've been immunized, I would have responded with this. I would have said, "Look, I'm not some sort of anti-vax flat earther." So he's calling out Kyrie Irving a little bit. I'm somebody who's a critical thinker. He said, my desire to immunize myself was what was best for my body. That's why this is so important to me. My medical team advised me that the danger of an adverse event to a vaccine was greater than the risk of COVID, of getting COVID and recovering. So I made this decision that was the best for my body. So he came out. So basically, kind of like said that he didn't really when the first press conference came out, and basically saying that he would. It's like he was. If I'm saying this wrong, like immunized. Um, so
Immunized, yeah.
I'm not sure if that means he got vaccinated or he's just like not he's
Well,
immune to the vaccines.
so what? No, no, no. What I'm saying is that he says that he's allergic to ingredients in two of the three approved vaccines. There's an ingredient in Moderna and Pfizer that he's supposedly allergic to, which is, dude, that's cool. Nobody's saying that you had to get the vaccine, but if you ain't gonna get the vaccine, right? And he was doing all these other alternative methods that the NFL did not deem was the same as being vaccinated. If you're not going to get the vaccine, which is cool, that's your own personal opinion. I'm not getting into that. You know, you have to do your part the other way, man. Carson Wentz has been following everything. Aaron Rodgers, I haven't seen Rodgers with a mask on. I haven't seen him taking those necessary precautions, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the NFL already deemed that it's not the same. And you messed up, man, and you don't look great right now. And quite frankly, you just got to be better, man. Like, you stop sitting here with the loopholes and blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, man, at the end of the day, you knew what was going on. The team knew what was going on. Because you're such a great talent, we're going to try and cover up for you. But here we are. We got caught. Own it like a man. Keep it moving, bro. And just do your part. And we won't be having problems like this. You got to sit out a couple of games because you tested positive for COVID. That's usually what happens when you're not, vaccinated. But like I said, it is what it is. It's your choice, and as we just said for the last couple of minutes, your actions have consequences. If you're willing to live with them, then so be it. But here we are. Don't be sitting there backtracking, blah blah blah, bro. You messed up, and now you got to deal with the consequences. Still a great talent. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is necessarily a bad guy. He just got caught up in the situation, and he looking some kind of way right now, and it ain't the best way. Just own up to it and put it behind you, man.
So like the question is like I mean like obviously we both don't know this but like I wonder if the coach Matt LaFleur knew.
You gotta assume he had to, man. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna back him. Like, at the end of the day, like, that's your star quarterback, right?
Because I mean, we have in NBA, Kyrie Irving's not vaccinated. He's off the team right now. So like, why isn't the same policy for the NFL? Why he's not vaccinated? Why not?
But it's but it's
But then
completely
again, he's
different.
in Brooklyn, New York. There's different,
Well,
states.
first off, not only is it a different state and they're a lot more strict than playing in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Aaron Rodgers is also playing outside. Kyrie Irving is in an arena. All right. We
Yeah.
know from science that this thing moves. Most spreader events, like it in inside, is when it could be a problem, because everybody's in there breathing the same air, blah blah blah. But it is what it is. So I'm not gonna sit here and just like Kyrie Irving, man. he chose to live with the consequences. Is what it is. I respect Kyrie Irving more than I respected Ben Simmons through that whole thing. Granted, I thought it was a little like ridiculous that he would commend the man for living with the consequences. Now, granted, would I still trade him? Yes. Um, would I be looking to? Because it's just not only with the COVID stuff, there's been prior stuff, you know what I mean? But if I can't have him, at least Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna get back after he serves his 10 days. You know, where the NBA is completely different. You ain't gonna have Kyrie for the entire, basically half the season, and some certain of playoffs and all that stuff. Like Aaron Rodgers, at least is gonna go be back. Aaron Rodgers is a former league MVP. Aaron Rodgers is, quite frankly, one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. So yeah, I'm gonna put up with a couple more headaches, especially when I get a player of that talent coming back. But he's still, when he does come back, need to do what he needs to do, man.
Yeah. I think Adrian, my boy Woj, may know Woj, like Adrian Wojnarowski. I think he said that like so if you in the NBA, like if you get fairly vaccinated players, I think it's not just only vaccination. I think you have to like self isolate for like 10 days and then go through like some tests for it. So Kyrie has a long process of getting back where he has to get vaccinated. I don't know what he might get Moderna, he might get, which is 2 doses. So I
I don't
mean,
think he's
to
gonna
get
do
to
it.
be fully vaccinated. So it's not just getting the shot. It's also like isolating, taking like I think you have like 2 negative tests in 24-hour time frame. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this whole Kyrie, but like you said, like Aaron's gonna serve his 10. I mean, obviously he has COVID, and he has to serve like his 10 days, so he'll miss this week's game against the Packers. Which
I mean, the Chiefs. He played on the Packers, my man.
my bad. That see that'll go on as a blooper.
All
No,
good, man.
but yeah,
We all mess up, B. It's all good.
it's been a
But as
long
you
day,
said, like
man.
he's missing the Chiefs, but the Chiefs themselves have been subpar.
Subpar.
You know, they've been subpar, man. They got a lot of headaches. So I guess if there is a game to miss, that's the game to miss. But you know what I will say, this is, you know, he was threatened. Aaron Rodgers, mind you, was threatened by that Jordan Love move. You know, drafting Jordan Love in the first round, couple couple years back. He wanted some more wide receivers. This was a big indication of why he's been upset with the team, because like we had a first round pick, and instead of rocking with me and getting me help and all this stuff when I've been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for a while, y'all brought in a first round quarterback, basically saying that this is going to be my replacement at some time. Well, now we're gonna see that replacement take the field, Big J. So this is kind of like, hey man, yeah, this is, I'm talking about. You don't realize the implications that your actions have. Now you're gonna be out. Now the guy that you didn't even want to be drafted is gonna have a shot at starting gonna have a shot at taking your job, man. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Jordan Love is at the level of Aaron Rodgers, but we're gonna see a glimpse of him, and who knows? If they like what they see, and things start being a headache with Rodgers continuing moving forward, they might be a little comfortable with like, okay, let's move him, let's see what we can get for him, and we're gonna rock with Jordan Love for, see where this takes us. So I don't know, Big J. This is very, very interesting.
Very, very, very interesting, man. So yeah, so I just remembered what I want to talk about for the NBA, man. Let's switch to the NBA now, man.
For sure.
And I just snapped. It just snapped. My boy Scottie freaking Pippen, yeah.
Bro, I'll be honest with you, like the updates on my phone. It's been I've been meaning to switch over to the NBA, so I think that was definitely a good time with it, bro. So hit us with it. What you got?
Um so my boy Scottie Pippen, man.
We starting with this?
Oh man, I just came into my head. So the other day he came apparently he has a new book coming out soon, and he wants to become an author, which everyone does when they're in their retired era. But he came out. and so
He
he
came
said
out
basically
and he came
the
out and
last
said
the
some
last dance.
blasphemous statement.
Yeah. So the I don't know if he had the statement. I was trying to look it up on my phone, but he was saying like the last dance. Michael Jordan made that last dance to prove to LeBron that Jordan is still the GOAT, and saying how Pippen, saying how he felt like he was like the not so talked about player because Jordan was on the team. So let me break this down, man. So first of all, Pippen, if you're going to tune into this show, man, I want you to hear me out loud and clear, man.
Oh God. Hey,
You,
hey. Just remember, my man, this has implications, and
hey,
just know what you
but
were about to say.
I, hey, I'm wise with it. So listen, hear me out, Scottie Pippen. You are a great player, man, but you are nothing without MJ, bro. Like, like you are. Why are you coming out and saying that you like had problems with Jordan and you like we all know Jordan was carried the teams, man. Like Jordan didn't need you because he won those first couple championships without you. You had those six rings because of Jordan. Jordan helped you out with that. And then secondly, with the Last Dance. Okay, yes, I love the series, man. Jordan, he was a goat, but why throw that stuff in LeBron's face, man? Like, so how you feel about that, Brandon? Like, how you feel
Well,
about that?
first off, Big J, I gotta correct you because Jordan didn't get the rings till Scotty. So I apologize on that. But Jordan did not start winning rings until he linked up with Scotty. But what Jordan was doing was that he was already being considered the best player in the NBA.
Yeah,
He was
that's right. That's what I.
already a
That's
dominant
what I
player.
meant. Yeah.
Yeah, he was already a dominant player. His resume speaks for himself. All right. Now, granted, does Jordan get those six rings without Scottie Pippen? Probably not. But at the end of the day, when we've already seen Jordan be dominant, it is a team sport. You need some help. But Scotty didn't do anything without Mike. I mean, the years that Mike stepped away, the Bulls didn't win. Hakeem Olajuwon comes through, gets his chip. You know, Scotty was on a couple of the teams afterwards. I know he was in Portland. He even linked up for a little super team action in their older age down in Houston. It didn't work out. So, Scotty, the fact that you're out there sitting there saying that Jordan only put that out there to remind kids that he's still the greatest. Well, yeah, he is the greatest, dude. He's the most dominant player we've ever seen in basketball. And this is talking about a league with Shaq. Shaq might be the most dominant physical specimen we've ever seen. Wilt Chamberlain in that conversation too. But if we're looking at accolades, if we're looking at just pure domination, Michael Jordan is the next predator of NBA, man. Nobody was winning when Jordan was in his prime, man. He was locked in. And then you take Jordan out of the situation, the Bulls didn't do nothing. Scotty, I apologize. You're a great player, but I think he's just a little salty that he's been the Batman to Jordan. He's been the Robin to Jordan's Batman his entire career. He could never be the main guy, and sometimes that just happens, bro. Scotty's still a top, I'd say a top 20 player in NBA history. And that's nothing to shy about. But the fact of the matter is, there's just some guys that can carry the torch by themselves and some guys that can't. And don't get me wrong, was Scotty a big part of Scotty the main source of the winning? No. As we said, he was the Batman. He was the sorry, I keep saying this. He was the Robin to the Batman, man. He was kind of a bit of a sidekick. And but like we said, man, Scotty is still a great player. I'm not trying to take anything away from him in terms of his ability, but Scotty, the fact is you never got it done when you were the main guy. We've even I think Scotty's also a little mad because that documentary brought up, sometimes with Scotty was selfish, man, refusing to check into the game because they were drawing up the play for Kukoc and stuff. So, like, listen, Scotty, we've seen him in the news for recent stuff. Got some ex-wife problems going on. So, I think Scotty's just pretty frustrated right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Scottie Pippen is a very, very good player. Reminds me of like a a modern day like Draymond Green, that power forward, um, slash small forward. Um, but let's just be honest here. Like Jordan was Jordan before Pippen came in. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing his thing, man. And you just happen to hop on the Chicago train, enjoy the ride. I mean, obviously, they had Jordan and then Pippen and Rodman and Coach. But yeah, like I feel like that that documentary series kind of like pinpointed like this was like for the people for the kids who haven't or the like me like who haven't seen Jordan play. This was like the first in depth look in locker room of what they were dealing with, man. And you know, um, it's just like Stephen A. Smith said on First Take the other day, like it's a very very underappreciated statement from Pippen because I don't know if they're friends off the court right now. Like that friendship has been better. Um, so I mean, and this to say that that last dance was for the modern day basketball fans to stabilize that as Jordan being the GOAT. I mean, maybe, but maybe once LeBron retires, he can make a documentary himself and make it even better, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Big J, too. Well, first off, I don't know if there's anything LeBron can do to be the GOAT in my eyes. I think he's top three all time. Some days I have him too. Um, I'll tell you right now, my top three consists of Michael Jordan. That's how I see it. I know people are gonna debate that and disagree with that. It is what it is, but that's my top three. But going back to with Pippen, as I said, he to me a modern day comparison would be Kawhi Leonard, but I think Kawhi Leonard has already surpassed in terms of size, athleticism, defense, and what they just bring to the game. But Kawhi is a better scorer than Scotty was, and I think he surpassed them. But my man Rick, and Renzel said that basically that Scotty's pretty upset that Jordan's always handled his money, found a way to make it, became a billionaire off of playing basketball and the shoe deals. We saw that was another thing too in that Last Dance documentary is that Scotty didn't handle his business, man. He got fleeced with that contract. What was that like 7 years, like 18 mil or something like ridiculous cheap? So it's like I think Scotty's pretty bitter, been the limelight. He's kind of been out of it, and it's Mike has taken all of them. Mike took control of all like the opportunities. I know he made some money off that documentary series, and Pippen saying that him and the boys didn't get paid. Well, that's on y'all to get paid, man. Handle your business. You're a grown man. Like Renzel said, bro. Like Rick Ross said, like figure it out. You didn't have to be a part of the documentary. If you wanted to be a part of the documentary, like it is what it is. But if you felt that you should have been getting paid for to the success of the documentary, if you don't think if you're not getting compensated, man, like what is that crowd?
yo, friend, my bad, B. Your audio cut out for like I was trying to like fix my audio, bro. Cause like your shit was like kind of like your audio was kind of like it's like kind of like you sound like an alien, bro.
Oh, my
I
bad,
don't know
dude.
if that was my end or your end,
Dude,
but
I'm working on the LAN cable. I thought I
no,
had
I
it
think that's my
fixed.
end this time. Like it kind of sounded like you're from like another planet, bro. Like, but
Good
whatever
God.
you said, I don't know what you said, man. But I think it was good, man. Whatever you said.
Bro, I was just saying that like you gotta handle your business. Rick Ross said that like you gotta handle your business, man. Like you should not have been contributing to that documentary if you weren't gonna get compensated. bro. Like you didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. You signed that awful. We already know that Scotty got some questionable business practices when he signed that awful contract. I think it was like 18 mil or something like that, which even back then was really cheap for a team to pay for a player of his caliber. But it is what it is, man. You can't go through life being bitter like that because somebody was outshining you. That's on you to be smarter and do what you need to do to get out of the limelight. My man is just he's coming off as bitter. And Scotty, like, yeah, you top 20 of all time, but you're coming off pretty weak because you couldn't be the number one guy, man. And you had opportunities so
Right, right. So hopefully, I mean, he can kind of like chill out and like let this whole stuff ride out, and then maybe they can. I don't see them. I mean, I'm not sure if they're best buds off the court now. I don't know. I'm not sure what their friendship relationship is,
and that's
but
another thing too, Big J. We've already seen Michael Jordan cut off Charles Barkley because Charles came out and had some job as an analyst and was being critical of how Charlotte was being run, and Jordan didn't like what was being said, and they no longer have a relationship, according as far as I know. I don't know them personally, but that's all the reports is that they don't chill like they used to, man. So if you're gonna come out and say this stuff, man, I hope y'all don't have a relationship because Jordan's already cut people off for less.
right, right. Um, yeah, man. So the next topic is like the Lakers, man. Like, what's going on with them, man?
Dude, I what else could you ask for, man? I mean, listen, LeBron's down right now, but that's no excuse. He's still a great talent. Him and Russ have been holding it down, but it's just they seem to be blowing games late, and from everybody keeps on pointing fingers at Russ's decisions making and stuff. I mean, bro, it's been just it's still a team that's got to get acclimated to each other, but they definitely need to figure it out. And it's heartbreaking watching the Lakers just come up like this. But man, I will say Carmelo Anthony, man, Melo is low key back, man. I mean, the last 4 games alone, Big J, 24 points, 9 of 12, 23 points against Houston, 8 for 14, 15 points against Houston again, 6 of 9, 21 points, 8 of 18 against OKC. Bro, I mean, 4 times, bro, in freaking in 9 games, 4 out of 9 games, he's over 20 points. He's having good shooting as man. He's literally averaging 50% shooting. This is exactly what you need from a man coming off the bench. And I think he's definitely gonna be in that 6 man of the year conversation if he keeps it up. This is exactly what I wanted from Melo. This is exactly what we need from Melo. And people just need to be stepping up like this. Embrace the role. Stop doing it, trying to do too much, man. You got to rely on the team. The Lakers, like I said, bro, they're my favorite team, but we cannot just be relying on talent. You still gotta when you gotta outsmart everybody. Because let's be honest, we're not as athletic as everybody. We got Russ and AD and LeBron, but we are the oldest team in the NBA. So some teams are going to have better motors. Some teams are going to have quite possibly better athletes, but nobody will have more experience. And if they could just figure it out, bro, like this team should be unstoppable, especially with Brooklyn. I think is really the only threat. Quite frankly, well, doing work, and if Clay comes back, it's going to be a problem. But if the Lakers can make it out of the West, I don't see a team in the East that should be able to beat them if they're all gelling. It's just whether or not they can figure it out. And it's still early in the season. We're only a couple of games in, but man, I don't know, Big J. What do you think? You muted my home.
Man, that's twice, man. And then 3 strikes, I'm out, and I'm
Three
out, man.
strikes you out, man.
Anyways, yeah, man. So I'm looking at the stats from the first Thunder game, and same game. Like LeBron wasn't playing the first game that they met. Um, Davis had 30 points. This was the first matchup between the Thunder. When the Lakers lost 115 to 123. Davis had 30 points with 8 rebounds. Westbrook had 20 points, 14 rebounds. Monk had 9 points, 11 points from Bazemore, and Jordan had 6. Anthony had 13. Reeves had 2. Bradley had 13. And it seems like in that game they fell short. Or they just couldn't hold the lead from the latter part of the fourth quarter. So fast forward to the game last night. So shot Gildas Alexander hit the game winning 3-pointer to hit the dagger. So the stats for that game, um, AD had 29 points with 18 boards. He was eating at the glass. Westbrook had 27 with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. AD had 5 assists too. Bradley had 9 points. Bader had 2. Anthony had a good 21. He was 8 for 18 from the field goal. Reeves. I mean, so they're getting a little bit of help from the bench, but there's no way like the OKC's all. They're an okay team, but they're not like talked about, and like you can't be losing. Like even though, like you said, we're early in the season. There's no need to like panic right now, but like we can't be losing to like subpar teams, man. And like you said, we're still bonding, we're still getting that chemistry going. But and plus LeBron's out, which is like you said, it shouldn't be an excuse, man. Like we should be winning these games with AD and Russell playing. But I don't know. Like I'm looking at their schedule. Coming up. I mean, they got the Trailblazers tomorrow. They got the Nets. I mean the Hornets and the Heat, Timberwolves, Spurs, Bulls. So hot teams coming up with a long stretch. And LeBron has the abdominal strain tear. So how and the doctors are kind of like not in a rush to send him back to the court. So the Lakers they need to pick it up, man. Because Lakers are a championship winning team. They can't be just losing these games where we should be winning. So that's where my mind's at. I mean, Russell Westbrook, he should play his role. Instead of taking all these jump shots, man, like he just needs to like pass the ball, man.
Dude, he's averaging like 5 turnovers a game, and he just needs to be smarter. He's a great player. He's a former MVP. We know what he's capable of, but I think sometimes he just feels the need to just maybe do too much and tries to be like, bro, you don't always have to be Superman. Sometimes the best move is just Phil Jackson came to Chicago, came to Los Angeles, and talked with Kobe Bryant and talked to Michael Jordan and said, yo, you don't have to do everything all the time. You got to pick your moments, and that's the key to this game right now is that you got to figure out the time of when you got to be a killer and get in there, drive the ball, score the points. Because quite frankly, I've seen multiple drives alone. He just puts his head down there, goes in there like a bull, and teams are just trapping him, and he's losing the ball. Or he's just not making good decisions, not making the best of pattern up. And I don't want to sit there and blame all these losses on him, but your starting point guard can't be getting 5 turnovers, man. And he just really got to shape it up. Well, we should be in a better position than what we are based on talent alone. But as we said, like talent can only take you so far, and this team is older and hasn't been together for that long. I mean, the only players that really know each other a bit are Davis, LeBron, Rondo, and Dwight Howard. They were there for the championship. Talon Horton Tucker was there last year. But the rest of the team basically brand new. You got a lot to gel with, and quite frankly, someone got to step up, especially when Braun's going down. We've seen Melo step up. Others got to follow suit. Know your role play it well. That's the key to success. Look at the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry's shooting like 42% right now. That's not like him. He's usually around like I think 48 for his career and showing up at times, and he's on the court because teams are just really zoning in on him. And you have players like Jordan Poole uh, just taking over games, man. And that's exactly what the Lakers are lacking, you know. But
Yeah, and like I said, their West is not getting any easier because you got Murray coming back hopefully soon. Um, all these good teams in the West, like the Mavs are doing pretty good this year. We got um, but like the competition is gonna get stiffer, man. But like you said, there's no need to panic. I would say I feel like we're gonna start gelling like after Christmas, because we play that Christmas Day game. Um, but
that's
like
the
you,
problem,
yeah, like it shouldn't
around
take.
Christmas,
Yeah,
Clay's gonna be back for
gonna
the
be back. Yeah,
Warriors. You
that's what I'm
know,
saying. It's not getting easy in the East. Not getting any easier either. Like got the Heat, got the Hornets, got the who else? The Heat, Bucks, Knicks had a good win tonight. A good comeback win. You get the Bucks tonight.
hey, the Knicks have been killing it, man. Like I'm glad you just said that. Like they have been, they're exactly what like you want out of a team, and they're grinding. Like everybody's doing their job, even on nights when players might not be having good nights. They're still contributing in a way. They're playing good team ball. I mean, just looking at it, Julius Randle's been a stud. Yeah, that's exactly what we expected from him, especially getting some offensive help. Obviously, Kemba's been a little streaky. It's been a couple pretty streaky these last couple games. Fournier really opened it up for him. But I mean, even tonight, like RJ stepping up, having a 20-point game. Fournier not having the best of nights. Kemba Walker having a pretty awful night. These guys are still winning games, and it's just been all cylinders with the Knicks, quite frankly. But if they could just get more productivity out of Kemba, like to be consistent on the offensive end, and Fournier, we've seen do a great job there at times. If they could just, Knicks are going to be a deadly team, man, because everybody's playing defense. Thibodeau's not messing around this year. He's basically like, if you want to be on this court, you're gonna be if you ain't scoring, you playing defense at the end of the day. And I think that's what the Lakers need to do too. Is hey, if you're having an off night, somebody else got to step up, but you definitely got to play defense. And you got to be smarter. You can't be sitting there turning the ball over and not doing that. But Big J, we've already talked about like the big players, and you mentioned the Heat of this season said that he's on the same level as LaMelo Ball and as Luka Doncic. And quite frankly, man, he's been backing his talk up. And I gotta say, man, it's been really exciting watching him play. He's absolutely killing it this year. I mean, he's averaging 20 points on 45.7% shooting with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. And I, I got to get the 3-point numbers because we know he be slinging it. But I'm surprised by this, that he's, hanging in there with LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo alone compared to that, LaMelo's not even at 20 points for the season. He's averaging 19.4 on 42%, 6 rebounds, about 6 assists. So he's performing better than LaMelo is right now. And I actually thought I saw that he was outperforming Luca, which I was really surprised about, just because I think Luca might be the face of the league. I mean, he's right there with Luca. I mean, 29 on 42% shooting, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Tyler Hero is legitimately backing up his claim right now. Do you see him sustaining this? And do you think he's a legitimate factor, man?
I feel like he is, man. Like he really showed himself in the bubble, 2019. Going off. especially with those circumstances. But I haven't really seen him play because, like, unfortunately, we're in Jersey, so we can't really watch really out of market games unless you have the NBA ticket or. Um, but yeah, like the stats you've read to me, they're impressive, man. And I saw that statement. He said like I should be in that with like with Trey Young, Luka Doncic, and I agree, man. He's young, talented, um, has a swagger to him. Um, brings that Miami Heat swag. And he's up on the stage with my boy Harlow all the time, bro. So you already know
Yeah.
he's living in Miami, man. So yeah, like what you said, like I haven't seen him play like where I can like judge him on anything, but like from what you said, like 20 points, what 4 assists, 42% shooting, that's pretty good, man. And they need all the help they can get because like they're in an East where it's not easy. It's not getting easier. They got these young teams, the Pistons with Cunningham, Kate Cunningham coming back at you know the Hornets. You got the Celtics still. You got the Knicks. Like so, with Tyler Hero, he gets a lot of help on that team. And I like the mission with Kyle Lowry too. That was a good pickup.
Yeah.
And with a good coach with Eric
Yeah, man. I
Spoelstra. So you
mean,
got the whole. Like you said, like the Knicks are built like a winning team. You got a good coach in Tom Thibodeau. You got a young talented and Robinson, the center, which he was out last year. You got Barrett. So I mean, Miami, they're in the same boat, man. Good coach, good players around them. Well, my boy Bam Bam Adebayo. Oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. Bam Adebayo. So they got a good team, man. So yeah, to your
Adebayo.
question, yeah, the answer to your question is yeah. I feel like he should be in that list. It's about damn
Man, I'm
time.
gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. We saw him in the bubble. He killed it. I thought he was a great talent, but I didn't think that he was gonna be on this level. I saw him make that statement. I was like, hey, we'll see. But I will say this: I've been on Miami Heat's fans' ear, chirping it off a bit because I've never seen a talent get turned on so fast like that. They were basically ready to trade this kid. Want to see no part of him last season. And let's be honest, man, a sophomore slump happens all the time in sports. I just think you had to give him some time. And, he used everything as motivation, did it the right way. And now he's sitting up there, man. This is legitimately a talented kid who is sitting up there putting up stats that rival Luka Doncic, that rival LaMelo Ball, two future stars of the league. And if he can sustain this, man, he'll be up there in the conversation. And quite frankly, the Heat definitely need this because as you said, Kyle Lowry was a solid pickup. But he's just been really weird, man. I mean, just looking at these games, he's averaging 10 points on 37 and a half shooting, 44.6 this, which is good, but in 31.3 minutes, he's having some rough shooting nights, man. I mean, at least against Dallas, he went 7 for 10, had 22 points, but then against Boston, follows up and gets clamped up 2 for 9. But at least he's contributing everywhere else. I mean, the last couple of games he's had some solid rebound and assist numbers, but the shooting's definitely got to get better because if Kyle Lowry gets going, with Tyler Hero already stepping up, we know Jimmy Butler is the definition of a dog. I don't know if anybody works harder in the league than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's just been killing it, 24 points a game, 50 points, it's just if they get Kyle Lowry going, it'll be a show down in South Beach with Eric Spoelstra's team going as Rose also called it down there, man. Spoelstra Nostra. That was hilarious to me. But even Bam's been killing it too, averaging almost 20 points and almost 13 rebounds, man. So Miami's definitely gonna be a problem, Big J, and quite frankly, Miami and Miami and the Knicks might just be the teams to watch out for. Man, we always talk about the Nets, but man, those teams they got dogs. And even when big players are having bad nights, they're still finding ways to win games, man.
Right, right. Um, I just saw today that on my ESPN app that I'm sorry I gotta bring it his name up. Ben Simmons got fined like 350,000 for not participating in the game. I'm sorry. I'm trying to not avoid saying his name on this podcast. But he's going to be getting fined. Um, I guess from now on until he plays. So I mean, should we not even talk about this?
Big J, we could cover it, but like I gotta be honest with you, man. I don't want to hear Ben Simmons' name until it says in the headlines Ben Simmons is moving to X team, drop X team here, man. I don't want to hear Philly and Ben Simmons in the same breath. I mean, I think they're trying to make him go to like some mental health counseling. I don't really know what's going on. It's crazy, dude. Like, just trade the guy already, man.
But even without Ben, I mean, they're doing pretty good. I mean, they got Joe and Beak holding it down. They're good. They're a sleeper team too, man. You're now even without Ben. Um, but man, like I'm tired of hearing this Ben Simmons news, man. Like, but he did get fined today or yesterday for not playing. So I guess that's gonna be like the same situation with Aaron Rodgers of him, like holding out and then but to find him. But now obviously Aaron Rodgers signed the contract, but he's playing, but it's a different league. But now they're gonna start finding him for not participating in events and like that's his sacrifice. He's sacrificing his paycheck for I don't know what the
Hey,
freaking issue is, man.
dude, I don't listen. At the end of the day, like if I guess like do what you want, but man, Philly's Philly right now is sitting on top of the league at 7-2. In the Eastern Conference, they're legitimately the second best team in the NBA in terms of record, and they've played one more game than the Jazz, who are the number one in the power rankings, I believe. So, well, it's getting ridiculous, man. I'm so sick of talking about it. Thank God my dog's sleeping right now because we know he'd be crying the second he hear it. Um, I'm so sick of talking about this, Big J. You gotta move him. You gotta get him out of there, man. Like, they should have been looking for a trade partner for Ben Simmons, bro. Like, but the problem was they were just asking way too much, man. You gotta understand what the value is. Like, granted, you have a great talent on your hands, but nobody's gonna want him if y'all haven't even had him play for this. Dude, he hasn't played all season. Like it's just been pitiful. I mean, has he played? I don't even think I've seen him yet, man. Like I, I really don't know. I think this entire yeah, no, he hasn't played. I don't even think he's played a game all season, man.
Mm-mm.
This is ridiculous. Like for crying out loud.
Like fans want to come, like Phillies fans, they want to come see their players play, man. They want to come
Hmm.
see Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons play. I mean, I don't know about right now, but I mean, like, I don't know. Ben needs to get his act together, and like, I'm tired of hearing these like, oh, he's come to the Phillies. To the Philly arena to meet with the coaches, and then oh yeah, he's about to play, right? He's not.
Dude,
He's acting up in practice. Like, bro.
he's another one. Dude, he's like OBJ. Like he's being a bigger headache than anything else. So the it's time to move him. Nobody's sitting here saying that Ben Simmons is an awful player. We're just
Not
saying
at all.
that
Not at
Ben
all.
Simmons. We're just saying that Ben, you're not what you're causing, man. So the Philly needs to understand the value that this guy's value is dropping every day that you don't play him, man. So it just they got to figure it out, man. They definitely got to figure it out. So I don't know, Big J, but keeping it moving,
Yeah, like.
with the NBA,
Hmm.
who do you see swooping in for a move for Ben Simmons, man? And not even just Ben Simmons, bro. There's a couple of guys like I don't even know who would benefit from it. I guess what I'm really trying to ask is what teams need to make a move that just like their current situation ain't working?
Well, because their report saying that Maury, the GM, he wants a he doesn't want to just trade Ben Simmons for a garbage player. He wants a all star to fill the shoes. And I know you said CJ McCollum, but then to come to think about it, like who's gonna? Because I know Andre Drummond, he's like a true center. So like, who would help if they were to trade Ben Simmons for a McCollum? I I agree with you. Like he would bring like offensive like shooting and on that side. But who's gonna help Ben Simmons? I mean, I know you got Tobias Harris, but other than that, who do you have? So I feel like they need to trade for like another star studded like like stretch point guard. You know what I'm saying? Because he can run the point, but he can't shoot. But they need someone of that height and that ability to like maybe like a Luka Doncic type player. You know what I'm saying? Someone that can like help defend on
Distribute
the
the
post,
ball.
man. But
But
no,
what I'm
like,
saying,
I do agree with you to some extent. Like, something like a McCollum. I know they link James Harden to it. Like, someone like a James Harden esque player, man. So
yeah,
they can't
they're
just
few
get
and
Ben
far.
Simmons for nothing, man.
But what I'm saying, Big J, like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
what teams do you think it might be time to like start thinking about like, hey, we're not where we want to be. What team, in your opinion, might start thinking about blowing it up, man? You mentioned McCullum, like the Trailblazers are 3-5 right now, man. I know it's early, but I don't see them getting it done. Like, I think the Trailblazers need to start considering some moves, maybe
I can
even
see going to like San Antonio, maybe. But I know that's far fetched. I would like to see him maybe with Golden State because I mean, I know they're going to get some key players back with like Wiseman coming back
Mhm.
and Clay coming back, but what player doesn't want to play with Curry, man? He's one of the best shooters in the league. He can get Ben Simmons to shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, with Clay, and
Hey man,
they got terrible. I mean, not terrible. They have terrific shooting coaches. Like I had to correct myself. I said terrible. Terrific shooting coaches to help Ben Simmons out. But I don't know if they're willing to give a player um, up for Ben Simmons. I would say Minnesota too. Somewhere, but he wants to go out and maybe the Clippers, man.
hey, it's a possibility. I think you brought up some good options right there. I think all of them would benefit from having Ben Simmons. Quite frankly, um, it's just a matter of where and when, and quite frankly, Maury's got to be more realistic. What benefit are you going to get from hanging on to a player for 4 years? You're just going to withhold his salary. Like all you're going to do is damage his reputation and damage his trade value. If you're not going to play him, if he's not going to play, like then you need to move him as fast as possible because every day his trade value is getting less and less, and it is just absolutely ridiculous. But the NBA season's still getting long. It's still getting along, and we still got a lot of games to cover, man. But we're gonna keep it moving. Big J, we just saw the MLB season come to an end.
Indeed, we did, man.
The Atlanta World as World Series champions. They beat the Houston Astros, which I'm pretty sure most of America was happy to see. Oh man, talk about a, a Cinderella story. As dude, they really overcame the odds, man. We said that this team, we said this team was going to lose to the Brewers on this podcast. We said that this team was going to lose to the Dodgers. I didn't think that they were going to be Houston. I was rooting for them. Don't get me wrong, but the Atlanta Braves, good God, they had the guy. They had the guy. Play pitch like multiple pitches with a broken leg for crying out loud. It's just been insane. Like who was the guy?
Yeah, it's just like with
Charlie
all.
Morton, I think it was
Mhm.
Charlie Morton,
Yeah,
had the fractured tibia. He pitched multiple pitches on a broken leg. Like this is exactly what you need guys to do. Like it's just awesome. I'm pretty sure didn't they lose Acuna earlier in the
it,
season
yeah,
too? Like dude, that's their best player. Like goes down and good. Like God, man. Like Acuna goes down. Who's a tremendous player, you know, and this team really steps up. This is exactly the definition of next man up, holding it down like the Atlanta Braves, man. I'm not much of a baseball guy, but outside of the Yankees, but this is impressive, Big J. What do you think?
yeah. Like any baseball fan, including Yankees fans, were excited to see the what we call the Astros, the T-Stros, because they they cheated, but um, everyone wants to like to see them lose. All my friends are saying yes, yes, Astros, but like you said, man, just the way like that, the way like with the whole COVID, like people like in the beginning of the season, teams had to forfeit games because people were getting sick, and this the whole league, man, and what they went through with Acuna going down, um, you know, um, right fielder Jorge Soler stepped up big time, hit some big time bombs. Um, uh, so yeah, man, like they that's what teams should do. Like how they should model their teams. Like whoever goes down, next man up mentality, and that's what we have to do as Yankees, man. As Yankees, man. Like, did you hear the news? I think Brett Gardner um declined his player option. I believe, and the Yankees didn't pick up his club option, so he's a free agent. So, like that team should be a model of what teams should follow. Like, hey, so what if a star player like goes down with an injury? Next man up, and that's what they did, man. They faced adversity, man. So props to Atlanta Braves, but it's time to get down to the trades, and it's gonna be a roller coaster of all season in the MLB. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, and we're gonna unfold. I heard Carrera is in the talks for. We talked about on the previous podcast.
I think he's gone, man. I know uh his boys Javi Baez and the shortstop oh my god, they just signed into the big contract we always talk about. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. Um Francisco Lindor, my bad. They all play together on the Puerto Rican national team, so those are his boys. I think he actually might be looking to leave Houston for our crosstown rivals and the Mets. Um but man, I gotta come back to talk about the Braves real quick, Big J. This is exactly what, as you said, the the Yankees need, man. Jorge Soler really stepped up, man. He just played phenomenal against Houston, much deserving of that MVP. I think the best call I heard in the World Series was the announcer said that he hit it to another Soler system, and that was hilarious. But this is
he,
exactly Jorge Soler has just made the best of the opportunity,
he was
and
smacking in
I think he was
Freeman, man.
also the second player ever uh, of Cuban descent to win the MVP in the World Series, which is awesome. But quite frankly, man, shout out to the Atlanta Braves for taking down the Cheestros, getting them, bro. It was beautiful to watch. It was fun baseball. This was great for the game, man. And that's all. I don't know which more we can say on it. I'm hyped for baseball season to come back around. But we all know the Yankees got to do better, and they need to look at the Atlanta Braves and being like, hey, their main guy went down. So when our main guys ain't performing, somebody got to step up. Somebody got to be the Solaire up in the Bronx, man.
Right.
You know.
And yeah, man. Hey, like next season, I'm down to go to some Yankees games, bro. Let's do it, man. Cause I know. I've been to a couple this year, man. They were kind of dope, man. I went to the game with my boys when Gallo came to New York, man. His first game, and Rizzo. I mean, they got snapped by the Orioles, but nah, man. Like the Yankees, like they gotta get some players, man. Like they gotta get some. Go back to the old fashioned, because the Yankees, they're not really known for their speed. They're known for their power. You know what I'm saying? They're power
Dude, they
hitters.
gotta get base hits at the end of the day. They gotta get guys on base. That's the biggest problem to me. Pitching's gotta be better, but I mean, bro, we could do a whole podcast based on that. But Big J, we've already been here. Our time's kind of running up, my
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was gonna say,
You
gotta
know,
close it out, man. Yeah, man. So
so we'll come back to the Atlanta Braves. Shout out to the Atlanta Braves. That's all we can say. Good stuff on getting it done, overcoming the odds. We apologize here at the JJL Sports Talk Show because we quite frankly did not see you guys doing. I don't know if the world saw you guys doing what you guys put off. This was such an impressive postseason run, especially with Acuna going down. I, I cannot say enough positive things about the Braves right now, man. It was just an awesome display, and this is great for the game of baseball. But Big
yeah,
J, take
man.
us out, man.
Yeah, and yeah, whoever. I know we don't cover like UFC. I know if y'all are tuning in tomorrow, we got Kamara Usman facing Cody Covington and MSG tomorrow night. I wish I could go, but I'm not. I'm not big money yet, so like that event's probably sold out. It's gonna be a good fight. And also we got Canelo facing what's his name on the
Is
same
it
night.
Caleb Plant?
Yeah, Plant. Yeah, they're facing tomorrow night too. So if y'all want to tune into that, some pay per view, check that out. I
I'm
know,
gonna
I
tell
know,
you
we
right now,
gotta,
Big J.
I know we gotta finish some fighting talk like in some podcasts. But
Big J, we'll fit that in next podcast, bro. I'm telling you right now, I'm a huge Canelo Alvarez fan. I'm expecting a knockout here. He's going for the blood. He's gonna get complete that title collection right there once he knocks out Plant, man. I'm expecting like I'm gonna call it right now, bro. I think he's gonna get him in like the eighth. Canelo's a monster, dude. Good luck
yeah,
stopping him. I 100% see him going for the knockout. That Kamaru Usman fight against Covington is gonna be a war. I can't say enough about it. He got his broad joke in against Kamaru Usman last time and still hung in there for a couple of rounds. But I'm so sick of hearing the guy talk. Quite frankly, I hope Kamaru does the same thing again coming up, and that's going to be a good card. I think isn't Gaethje and Chandler, I think,
yeah,
are
they're fighting too. Yep.
on that card too. Like there's a lot of good stuff to coming down.
I
We'll
think
definitely
my boy
cover
O'Malley's
that.
fighting. My boy O'Malley's fighting. Sean Sugar O'Malley's fighting.
I didn't see that. I know Frankie Edgar and Marlon Vera are on that. Rose, not Thug Rose, is running it back with Weili Zhang.
I
Um,
could be wrong about that O'Malley. Is he not fighting tomorrow? O'Malley, or is he
he,
fighting?
I don't think Sugar Shane O'Malley's on the. He might be on the undercard, but
Yeah, on the
he's not on.
undercard maybe.
Yeah, he's not on the main card. So I'm not positive. Definitely. Hold on a sec. Yeah, no, I don't see him on the card. I don't think. I think he was supposed to be fighting, but possibly got injured because we know he's got a little bit of an injury history. But we'll see, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely some exciting stuff coming up in the fight game for sure, and we'll definitely be checking that out next podcast. But like I said, man, Canelo's gonna get the job done. I'm gonna be celebrating Saturday night. You already know what it is, Big J.
Yes, sir, man. Well, what a way to end it, man. So thank y'all for tuning in. A long episode, but it's all right. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Jordan. Once again, I'm Jordan Jean Louis, my boy Brandon Marazzo. And I know we shorthanded, but we did it, man. We did it. So have any last remarks, man, before we close it out, man? Or
Nah, Jordan, it's my man. It's definitely been a pleasure
yes,
being here. So thank you very much for having us.
yes,
And
sir.
Matt, we'll see y'all soon. Get back. You already know what to do. Have a good night.